Did y'all get y'all money out of FTX?
I didn't have any money in
I
it.
didn't have it in there.
Nah.
So FTX is a blockchain exchange. So it's this guy named Sam B. Freeman. Essentially, he had this other fund called Alameda Research. He was taking the money and borrowing it to go do some stuff with the fund, and then also just doing dumb stuff.
They said, somebody said a few people, you were bullying Christianity. As soon as something like that is said, there's no emotional intelligence. Honestly, if you having a conversation with me, you gotta have some type of emotional intelligence, or you just gotta give me the benefit of the doubt because you know he about to say something crazy in about 29 seconds. So, you gotta give me a little grace.
In my opinion, if you don't have that skill, you need to develop that skill, because you can miss out on so many opportunities. You can react, based on that stimuli. The stimuli is something that somebody said, somebody did, somebody said or did to someone else, and then you just react to that versus responding.
Some of us have not experienced true happiness right now. I want you to think about that from the perspective of like some real old heads. They just like unbothered and unfazed by life at this point. Like they just got so much wisdom, but they ain't never had no damn money.
What's up, though?
What's up was what you were about to tell me, how intelligent.
Yo, is that
people,
a NASCAR shirt, bro? Or like
no,
a
F1, man.
F1.
That's insulting.
You going to Abu Dhabi?
Nah, they're going to be in Vegas.
Now they got one in Abu Dhabi coming up, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not going to Abu Dhabi, but they got. You want
I'm going to Dubai. You should come out there. We do a couple podcasts.
Say less.
Lynch,
Let's
you
go.
Dubai?
Hey man, I don't know if I got the damn
You got it. You got the time, the money, all that.
Sheesh.
You know why?
Pop right up.
You know why?
I got the whole fam coming in a couple days.
Yeah, after that.
It's after that.
Oh yeah, let's roll.
Because you are him.
Still him.
Did y'all get y'all money out of FTX?
I didn't have any money in
I
it.
didn't have it in there.
Nah, you got me scared because I got money in Coinbase.
I'll take that joint out.
I think Coinbase, they was talking about some bullshit about that a few weeks ago too.
So y'all know the story of what FTX is, right?
Tell me.
So FTX is a blockchain exchange.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the second or third largest in the world.
Okay.
They were about to. They're bigger than Coinbase. Like they're balance joints. So it's this guy named Sam B. Freeman. I think they call him SBF. That's what they call him. SBF. Homeboy got a nickname already.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's when you know you dope.
You dope, right?
Yeah, you got a nickname.
And so he created this
moving
thing, a bunch of kids hanging out in Bahamas right now. And there's a bunch of stories going around about him. But essentially he had this other fund called Alameda Research, which is not a research firm. It was a fund. They just made it sound like that because it's more sophisticated. And what happens is when you own a block exchange, it's like a wallet. People keep their money there. Mm-hmm. So people had their assets in the joint, and he was taking the money and borrowing it to go do some stuff with the fund, and then also just doing dumb stuff. Like he was the second or third largest Democratic. I think he was the second largest Democratic donor behind Bloomberg. Like in the crazy amount of money. He had the naming rights to the Miami Heat Stadium. It's called the FTX Arena. Essentially, I think another exchange, Binance, was going to buy them, and it started uncovering some things that were not legit.
Some unscrupulous
money was not there. They were not as solvent as they were supposed to be. And there's billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of billions. He's like one of those guys with the messy hair, no shoes. He's like, I don't want to get rich for me. I just want to get rich. Like that guy. One of those guys that will absolutely steal your money. 100%. So right now, he's not locked up. Definitely got some white boy grace for that. He's not locked up. His mom and his dad are professors at Harvard, I believe, that teach law ethics.
So now is he saying I've
They
done
just
nothing
declared
wrong?
bankruptcy.
Oh, okay. The company FTX declared bankruptcy.
Done. You
Gotcha.
can't withdraw your money.
And he hasn't been arrested. Why?
He's in the Bahamas. So he probably paid off some people down there. That's going to last for a little bit. But he had people like Tom Brady as doing commercials, Giselle.
Oh yeah, I remember the Brady commercials. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had like the biggest name. Kevin O'Leary, the Shark Tank, was an investor in there.
Wow.
But how is he able to get money from the biggest and smartest investors in the world?
Supposedly the accredited investors.
Some people said he hid stuff on his bank sheet or he created whatever, but can't you get past that?
Yeah.
What kind of due diligence?
A la what is it, Bernie Madoff?
Yeah, Bernie Madoff.
Very similar.
But Bernie Madoff got what? How many years?
I don't think he's getting out.
Yeah, he's gonna die there. I know he got like 80.
I don't think he's getting out. Yeah. But
this guy will get 100. He might go life.
So it's really the question is, what's the psychology of individuals that will, because Madoff, he used to tell people, well, first he was showing these, ridiculous returns. Because you can make up a statement. You can type up a statement and give that to whomever and make it say
believe that?
People greedy people will believe that. Mm-hmm. They'll go, oh man, I'm getting 12% and you're not, you're only getting 2%. Yeah, my guy is so much better than yours. So the greedy people, the people who don't do their due diligence and dig in. But then Bernie added an element of, your nose pressed up against the glass and I want to get in. Because people would refer their friends to him. Misery loves company. And he would be like, nah, I'm not taking any more. I'm not taking any more investors right now. Maybe next year this time, but they're like, please, they're begging him. So the psychology of, this exclusive club and, fear of missing out costs people, their, wealth, lifetime of building wealth. So
he got some time though.
Yeah, he got a ton of time. So but it sounds similar to the story you just told us though.
That's what people are comparing it to. Craziness.
Bernie Madoff.
Have y'all seen anything online this weekend on social that was just you just disagree with? I don't know. It's just interesting.
Man, all that stuff is interesting to me. I gotta turn my phone off sometimes.
Facts. I put that post up from the last podcast.
Which one? The
desegregation Christianity.
Yeah.
You took it down?
No, I'm not taking it down. Who's gonna make me take it down?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
They tried to flag it on TikTok and I appealed it and they let it pass.
What is that process like, flagging it on TikTok? I don't know.
I guess somebody got offended. A couple people
and reported it.
Oh, they reported it?
They probably did.
And they gave me a warning and I was like, no, I want to appeal this. And I appealed and I won.
Yeah.
What was the warning? What that warning look like?
It's like my 5th warning. So they were like, your count's near termination. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So you got some heat.
So my original statement was one of the 2 biggest things that were detrimental, in my opinion, to the African American community was desegregation and Christianity. Let me explain. Desegregation, because it happened too early. We didn't get to establish a set of principles and rules that governed our culture, and we didn't get that togetherness. It's like we only had one family reunion. We didn't get many of them to have that bond. So before we were able to create that ironclad bond, we went into society and we were part of everybody else's joint, while everybody else had this togetherness, and they'll fight you tooth and nail if you come at their people correctly. Yeah. Incorrectly, right? And so for me, and then I also said that Christianity was a bad thing that happened. I'm not talking about the actual religion. I'm talking about how it was weaponized against the people, the black people, for the good of whoever wanted to weaponize it. And they used justifications in the Bible to try to justify why they were slaves. And then that type of passive behavior was passed down from generation to generation through the way that they taught the gospel. And I think that it made people passive. It made people say, we're just going to pray about it. And that's not the final answer. Like you're gonna have to put some work into that joint.
Yeah, I mean, scripture with that, right? Faith without works is dead.
So, I just feel like those two things. And so people took that into context. They skipped right over the desegregation and they went wait to like, yo, you're attacking Jesus. I was like, bro, I didn't attack Jesus.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
They said, somebody said a few people, you were bullying Christianity.
I was?
That's what they said. I just don't understand.
What does that look like when you do stuff like that?
I don't know. I was just trying to figure out a lot of stuff. I think as soon as something like that is said, there's no emotional intelligence. Like literally at that point, everybody gets in their feelings and they're like, either I want to fight or I want to argue. So
That's a bad thing though. That's a bad characteristic to have, to be able to react to something. You like, even if you say something that I may disagree with initially or disagree with you as a person, period, I'm still gonna hear you out because there may be some truth into what you're saying. The messenger might be crap, but your message might be dope.
Oh yeah, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say it in a way that make you upset anyway. So, if you
on purpose,
don't nobody like the way I say it. So honestly, if you having a conversation with me, you gotta have some type of emotional intelligence, or you just gotta give me the benefit of the doubt because he about to say something crazy in about 29 seconds. So, you gotta give me a little grace. You know what I'm saying?
How important is it in business, entrepreneurship, and life in general to be able to have that emotional intelligence, to be able to have conversations with necessary people you don't get along with, or understand where somebody's coming from, or whatever?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's like if you don't have that skill, you need to develop that skill because you can miss out on so many opportunities, right? So I don't know how many times I've been in a situation where I really didn't care for, especially if you know a whole lot about the individual or individuals you're dealing with outside of what you're talking about. It could go left and you can respond or you can react, based on that stimuli. The stimuli is something that somebody said, somebody said or did to someone else. And then you just react to that versus responding. There has to be space between the stimuli, like somebody read or listened to the micro about Christianity. And so there had to be some distance between them listening to that and then them coming up with a response. But most of the time that programming had them go, wait, this doesn't line up with my program. So I am going to react like right instantly. And then that reaction doesn't have a whole lot of emotional intelligence, and it can't go past that point because their mind's made up. So what's on the other side of that point? And that's where the success could be. That's where the partnership could be. That's where, the great buy could be. But you'll never get there because you can't get past that reaction. Right. You can't get past that.
First of all, I think I may have to define it for people because a lot of people don't know what emotional intelligence is. And you did give a great breakdown, but it's the ability to actually manage, both your emotions and to understand someone else's at the same time. And that's when, you actually, you have emotional intelligence because there's two things happening. Most of the times there's multiple emotions going on at the same time. And most people who win in business and have success in relationships in life, they create win-win-win situations because there's a lot of empathy that's being involved actually from the buyer, the seller, the brand, all the different people that are touching the same thing. There's someone who is putting themselves in each one of these person's shoes and saying, okay, the brand wins here, but the people don't win. Or the price point is good, but the brand loses right here. And someone has to bridge all of those gaps. And that's when you actually come up with that thing that everybody says, man, this is the next best thing since sliced bread. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of emotional intelligence that goes in the dopest products and services that you see, to this day. So if you can develop, some of that stuff now, even just in your intimate relationships, you can transfer that skill over into your business as well and be able to understand your customer and consumer, a lot better, and that will allow you to be able to serve them or give them a better quality product.
Yeah, so it's a key component to leadership too, right? Because if you react a certain way to a situation, the troops are going to react and then you can lose control like really, really quickly.
HR gonna be down you. That post that I did on IG had 829 comments and 7,000 shares.
That I was getting ready to say, the amount of shares that it had was mind blowing to me.
Crazy.
Dog. Like that stuff, it went.
What do you think the psychology of the share was? Let me show somebody else what he's saying, or
I think
what,
the
this
shares
makes
were
sense.
positive.
I think a lot of the shares were like, this is what I've been trying to say. Or like, see, I ain't the only one that think like this. And I tried to say it to you last week, but it didn't come out like this. I want you to hear what they talking about, stuff like that. So, and then there was a lot of people who was like, they probably sent it to somebody else like, yo, man, I need you to comment on this right here because you know more about the religion than I do. Right. And they talking junk about our stuff, stuff like that. But
it wasn't talking about he wasn't talking about the religion. He was talking
without emotional intelligence, you actually couldn't get to. Can you imagine if somebody just actually took a look at the long form content? Right. If somebody actually took a step to go past the micro and found out in context what he was actually talking about, it wouldn't get to all this arguing and things like that. But we like the tension because a lot of things come with the tension as well. Absolutely. So we take that. We take the energy.
I want to take a step back to the point that you raised about segregation and like all of the little mini Black Wall Streets that we had. And what could that same setup work today, right?
It definitely could, but let's talk about.
Because I think it was a part of the plan to divide and conquer.
Of course
it was. I think what you said was super important because we didn't have enough time. You said to basically be by ourselves or to understand what it was like to. So what happened was we didn't have enough leadership to integrate that fast. We didn't know what we were actually getting into. So some of the places like Black Wall Street already had an infrastructure. So people like Black Wall Street, they already owned buses.
Yeah.
And then
they had an infrastructure here in Winston-Salem.
Right.
It was a lot of places. It was the largest bus company.
Yeah.
Right. So here we are riding our own buses. Yeah. And here in Alabama and stuff, y'all wanted to go get on somebody wanted to go.
Bus.
Right. How you gonna go to the if we
how you gonna do that?
So in leadership, let's just say so we have other leaders that are checking us out. They're watching us, right? And what we're saying makes sense, so people want to mimic it. When you don't have enough respect for leaders or your community or culture, then you look at other cultures and try to mimic them. And you don't understand their infrastructure. You don't understand the principles that they actually operate off of. So now when you try to thrust yourself into what they do and try to thrust yourself to the front of what they got going on, you're going to get a lifetime of misery, man. You understand what I'm saying? And if we would have just if Alabama would have consulted Winston onto how are you guys running your own Black buses in your own city, and here we are, can't even get a ride on such and such, man, maybe we need some Black buses out here.
It was one of the largest bus companies in the country.
Yeah.
It's called a Safe Bus Company.
Bro, why on earth would we stop riding our buses to get on the back of somebody else's bus?
So, and that's what I mean by we just didn't have enough time to develop the principles.
You mean like countrywide? Like citywide? Like yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't, we weren't unified. Like that, it didn't last long enough to other people to see it to be like, we should do that. Or this is what it looks like. And here's the blueprint.
What, the segregation didn't last long enough? Because I think desegregation was the
yes,
was
and
the thing
it's
that
crazy to say.
disrupted it.
Segregation didn't last long enough with the idea of power. Right. And so part of
or ownership.
Oh yeah, there's a part of segregation where you were just fighting to desegregate. There was a small portion of segregation.
I think leaders like MLK was fighting for desegregation.
Yeah, but then he also said, "I feel like I'm leading my people into a burning."
Absolutely.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah.
So he realized it late in his career that wait, as he probably traveled and seen so many successful examples, he was like, "Well, wait,
why are we trying?
What
to
are we actually doing this for?"
Yeah, that's tough.
So if now with the knowledge that we have, information that we have, the resources that we have, should that be a play? Like
no. So here's what we're fighting now. It's no longer the physical segregation or desegregation or physical slavery. It is a mental condition that we are faced with now. So beyond that, we have $1.8 trillion. You know, we're like
Buying power.
find out what that is, EA. Like, I think it's the eighth.
Yeah, 7th or 8th.
It's the 8th largest
If we were a
economy
country,
in
if
the
black people were
world.
a
We
country.
make the black Americans' GDP is larger than Spain.
Yeah.
So so it's not that anymore. It's now the mental side. It's like, and I don't know how you fix that to let you know that. So I sent it in a group. There was a Asian man that was saying that Black Americans are one of the most powerful people in this country, in this world, because they can bankrupt or create any company in this world.
Yep.
Yeah, but we don't understand group economics.
Or we don't understand economics at all.
Right.
Yeah, without question.
Hell with even grouping.
Well, we actually, this is dope, launching a mentor program that actually has economics as one of the pillars that we'll be teaching these young Black males. We're going to teach them financial literacy, how to actually keep, the money within their network and network with people that can actually, get their stuff to the next level. So it's pretty dope. We're rolling this out in about another
needed.
week. Yeah.
It's needed.
It's super dope.
So you're saying like some of the there's some Black Wall Street efforts going on throughout the country, like malls, like all Black-owned businesses. So you're saying that's a futile effort right now until we fix the.
I go back to the book that we're writing and what we're talking about. Looks and sounds great. It's awesome.
Right.
It's like walking into an elementary school and starting at calculus. The problem is the prerequisites that are required to have a community where that makes sense, we don't have. And it starts with relationship. One with self, one with family, and then community. Right. And if you don't have that relationship with yourself and your family, then you don't have a community. You won't understand the principles that you got to have or the grace that you got to give family members to get where you got to get to.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, it sounds great, but we can't start. It's like the cart and then the horse. We ain't going nowhere.
Well, that's why I was snapping on last joint. I mean, I went crazy a little bit. I guess it was lack of emotional intelligence.
Did you say a little bit?
But a little bit, because I could.
You said more F words than you said.
Oh yeah, but that was only that episode. Like my mouth is atrocious. Yeah, I go.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like literally, I was literally talking about knowledge of self. And like you're saying it, in a nice, calm way. But when you talk about knowledge of self, you got to have knowledge, wisdom, understanding. You got what comes after that is freedom, justice, equality. What comes after that is once you get all that stuff, then you can get the bare necessities, which is food, clothing, shelter. And after food, clothing, and shelter, you can get love, peace, and happiness. So until you gather all those, 12 universal, laws, right? Once you get that stuff, then you can step outside of you and really know how to govern yourself, have empathy towards others, how to, pull people up and really show them that you are a light that shines within yourself. And then people will actually follow that because you have the true, inner compass to really lead the masses. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's where it starts at.
Food, shelter, and clothing was way down on that list. I got to wait.
Yeah. Because if you don't have, you got to actually if you don't have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, then the things that you'll do for food, clothing, and shelter will literally tear society up. And that's why you get guys like me that lose knowledge of self or don't, they go past their principles that they learned when they were younger and they throw them by the wayside. And then the things that I do for money, because I want more food, I want more clothing, I want better clothing, I want a bigger house, I'll cut corners and stuff like that for. And now there's no justice and no equality. I don't care, what I'm going to do to actually get this. But you see me out here now serving so much because I tore up society so much. Like I literally, when you pumping that much poison and shit like that into the hood, ain't no telling how many crack babies that actually came out from all the crack that you flooded the whole damn county with.
Forgive me.
You understand what I'm saying? So
forgive me
now
of what the
I got
stove
mentor
did.
programs because I need to feel like I got to right my wrongs. So justice and equality actually got to get served. The law of karma, sowing and reaping. You know, you got all these universal laws that have to come back in effect, and it makes you feel like you're doing a righteous deed. So some people are going to not follow the righteous laws. Or seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteous laws, and all these things can be added unto you. Sometimes you're trying to get all these things added unto you, like food, clothing, and shelter, because you ain't got nothing else.
I got questions. You believe in right and wrong? Because you spoke about you're doing wrong, and you're trying to right your wrongs.
Yeah, as a
possible.
Not really, but. Yeah, you know, you got, when you start to look at laws, you got as above.
You can do enough good to probably try to correct.
Yeah, I mean,
consciously
honestly,
what you've done.
Honestly, once I got to studying, looking at stuff, and it's like, yo, if I got a negative thought, then I can have one positive thought that overthrows like 1,000 negative thoughts. So I could be thinking negative, and I get that one positive joint in, and it'll get my vibration back to where I need to be. Right. So sometimes in life, I feel like it's the same thing. I could be having a bad day, but one good thing can turn my whole thing around. Now, I could be doing 1,000 bad deeds, but one good thing, I could, in Christianity, you get saved, right? And then all of a sudden, you feel like, yo, all right, I'm a different person now. Right? So it's the same thing. It's just that I use that as a figure of speech. Like I really feel like
because in Islam, it's like one good deed erases like, like 10 or something.
Yeah.
1 for 10.
I could be wrong, but don't quote me, bro. But you get what I'm saying.
Wow.
Yo, tell me how you feel about. I had this topic the other day about interest.
Interest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you mean in terms of charging someone interest?
Yeah, like the idea of interest and the how it works with the banking system and like.
Yeah. So
I think you should have the conversation first by removing it from money. So what I want you to do is think about the same thing, because you may have preconceived information or notions about it based around money. But if you actually remove that and think about how compound interest actually works in your entire life, I think your answer could be totally different. Because now we're not just talking about money. If you talk about it in health, if you talk about it in the reason why some of us have what we have right now, that compounding is probably the 8th wonder of the world. Like when you think about it, and if you can learn how to use it to your advantage instead of always being instead of always working against you, then man, I think we will all have a.
So to answer the question, you also have to bring out perspective. Like what side of the interest am I on?
There you go.
Am I on the paying side or am I on the receiving side?
Yeah.
Right. And then can I judge each side differently?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm receiving compounded interest, one would say, oh, that serves me. But if I'm paying out compounded interest, then that doesn't serve me. That doesn't serve me. So
I think it's a law. Isn't it a law?
But do you know how like the banking interest came about?
I know it's wrong.
Why do you say it's wrong?
I mean, so like let's just look at like religiously. Like I believe, don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure though that the Bible, usury was illegal. Like usury was frowned upon, even at 1%.
But in the Bible, and I know we're gonna have some scholars come out because they came out after you, it talks about charging interest or usury from one Christian to another. But the
foreigner,
the Gentiles, you can hit him over the head.
So I think there's different places in the Bible where they talked about it. I'm not a scholar, so don't even try to quote me. But I know it was frowned upon, period. Even at the 1%. I know in Islam it's haram. Like you can't pay it or receive it.
Right. And I think also in the Jewish community, I know from one Jewish person to the next, they don't charge.
Correct.
It's interest-free loans.
Correct.
From one Jewish person to the other Jewish person.
But outside, foreigners
Right. Then you get hit over the head.
Okay,
as
so-
stated earlier.
So look at that concept of them not charging each other. Why?
Oh, you need to come up. Here's a loan that's going to help you
And
come up.
it's just a topic. It really has not much to do, but interest can kill you.
Oh, no doubt. But again, it depends on what side of the interest you're on.
It doesn't matter. It's wrong.
I struggle with, for the past couple of years, I've been struggling with the word right or wrong. The words right or wrong. So it's either serves me or it doesn't serve me. So I try not to even say whatever, if this happens to me,
just
it serves
the
me or it
banking
doesn't.
principles alone, you put your money in the bank, in a savings account, you get 0.001% interest.
Yeah, you lose money. Yeah.
You're losing money because inflation is faster than that.
Yeah. Inflation is 8%, you're getting less than 1.
Yeah, so
Do
you're
the
losing
math.
money. If you keep it in there a year, you lost 7.9% of your money.
Yep.
But the bank takes the same dollars you have deposited and they loan it on a credit card for 19, 20, 22%.
Yeah.
Home loan, long term,
Yeah.
6, 7%, whatever it is, 3%, 2%. And like typically when you buy a house, you're paying double of what it is by the time you're
Yeah,
done.
over
So you
30
buy a
years.
$200,000 house, you're gonna pay $400,000 for it.
If you pay for it for 30 years,
Nobody does.
Nobody
Most
ever
people,
pays
I think the
for
average is 7 or 12 years that people
Yeah.
flip out of houses.
Right.
But the banks reported that U.S. banks reported that they made $64 billion in profit just in the second quarter
Right.
of this year.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know like the breakdown of that profit because
Well, they started stripping away bank fees.
the spread is dead. The spread in terms of what I get as a bank versus what I lend out, the rate that I lend out, that spread is dead. It's shrunk. It's tiny. So
Well, what's the cost of the spread? Damn near zero.
what do you mean?
What's the cost of the loan? What's the true cost of the loan? This is
It's
getting-
not zero, but
Damn near zero.
I get your point. But the spread in terms of like I would like to know where that profit came from because a bunch of that came from just fees. I don't know if you spent a whole lot of time.
Yeah,
at banks,
but they started to banks went up against Congress recently, and they were getting hammered because these little $35 fees, which happened to be targeted towards marginalized people that live paycheck to paycheck, they had to get rid of them because it was like majority of their profits.
Yeah, it's a chunk of their profits.
Big chunk of their profits was these $35 fees.
Why'd you ask that question? Do you don't believe in interest?
Oh, I don't know. I don't do that. That's why you don't see I have no loans.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
why he
gotcha.
pays for everything.
Okay.
That's
Cash.
why most of
Yeah,
the time
but
if
what
I
about
make,
somebody that's trying
Would
to
you
start a
lend me?
business that don't have the money?
Yeah. Yeah, to Lynch's point, I start a business and I'm taking equity, I'm taking debt, and you say, "Hey, I'll do a debt play with you," and you give me $100,000. You're just gonna give me $100,000.
can I invest with you in your business? Can I be an equity
I
partner?
want debt. I need debt. I don't.
Well,
want
I'm
an
not your
equity
guy.
partner. Okay, all right. So you wouldn't take interest,
You personally, I'd just loan it to you.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, but you wouldn't do a debt play with anybody where you're receiving interest.
No, like I'll give you an example, like how I do it on a house, right? So like if I'm going to own or finance a house, I don't do interest, right?
Oh, wow.
So what happens is if I would sell the house for $50,000 cash,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell it to you for $62,000.
Somebody might say that's interest, just in a different form.
No, I just charge you a different price at the end of the day. So now you have flat pay. You have
Why are you charging me a different price?
Because
Instead of just hitting me with the
hitting you with the flat rate. So
instead of hitting me with the interest.
it's not interest because now we're partners in this joint until you get out of it.
How are we partners?
Because I bought this, it's my house. You didn't pay me for it. So now it is mine in your house until you pay me for it.
It's our house.
Well, there's always, so think about this. There's always there's a fee associated with the sale of this house.
Right. Okay.
And if you go, you're in trucking business, you got a cash price on that billboard and you got a credit card interest. So that price,
Right.
that's because it costs me more to do it this way and it costs me more to do it that way.
Right.
I mean, in that case, everything is interest if that's the case.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not saying it is. I'm just trying to understand why.
But the reason why I bring it up is because when I'm in Africa, right? When I go to like Ghana, when I go to like those places, yo, if you go get an apartment, you know what it costs you? Like, you know how much money you got to have up front to get an apartment? All of it. 12 months.
Like right
Oh, you
now?
mean 12 months of
Right now.
Oh, wow.
Right. When you go buy a brand new crib, you're probably putting down like 20% at construction, 50% by the time they're done. You got 2 years to pay off the rest. So what I'm saying is that most people are conditioned. America has been so conditioned to buy things when they can't afford it.
Right.
Right. So right now I'm trying to move money
they
around.
Force you to buy. They force you to be able to afford it before you buy it.
Correct. So
I love it.
Which is correct.
I love it.
So like
Right.
Yeah, they force you.
Yeah.
So for me, like I'm trying to buy a new plane, right? So I'm trying to figure out moving around $1.6 million. I want to buy this new plane, right? And I'm selling the one plane I have now to be able to put, and easy, I can walk to the bank, they're gonna give it to me.
Right.
I am waiting until like these couple plays come together.
Line up, yeah.
I'm just gonna go cash it out.
Right.
Because me and my wife, we have 0 loans.
Right.
So I sleep good at night.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming. Like if things turn upside down for us or these things go bad,
Yeah.
ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody coming to get the cars.
Ain't nobody knocking
nobody
on
coming to
doors.
get the
Right.
plane.
Or you leverage it. Or it can go. Like all my shit for sale. Every last day.
Yeah, if you need
I'm
to.
from the street. It can go.
I get it back.
It can go in a heartbeat. I'm telling
That's
you.
interesting, man, because some people like they have their thing like I never sell my house. I'll never
Yeah,
sell.
all that shit can go.
So I sell this right now. You
sell
give me the right
anything?
price. You can have this
Absolutely.
joint.
Gotcha.
Straight off the lot. Somebody can get it.
I was just thinking about it because facts.
You looked at me like you want to buy it? You want it?
When I got done building this house, I told my wife, I said, if somebody came along and give me the right money, I'm gone. We won't even, don't even move the bed in.
I love that because some people they're not like that. I've had this. This has been
All
in the
things I
family
have
for
all things are tradable.
20 years, and
My wife never looking at me crazy, man. We built a joint, the house that we in now. Then I looked at my wife. I told her, I said, we ain't gonna be here about 5 years. We out of here. My mind just worked totally different.
Yeah, but you grew that equity.
Absolutely. I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah. Pull that couple 200, 250 out of there. We out. We 250 up. Hey, we about to flip
Tax
that.
free too, because you get 500 if you're married.
You see what I'm saying? So look, I got a question though. Take away, the house aspect about, how you flip and, the price the fee versus the interest. I think that was dope. It's a fee versus interest. Take away all that. What advice would you give someone who is trying to maybe start a business or make their business go a little further and they're thinking about getting a loan, where they're not in a position to, like buy this cash or get it from you or anything. They're not looking for a partnership from you. What advice would you give them about loan or interest loan?
You gotta do what you gotta do, baby. I'm not saying my model fits everybody. I'm just saying you gotta do what you gotta do. So if that's what you gotta do to get up, get up. But my advice to people is I lost that concept of money is hard to obtain. So if I want something and I'm gonna usually foreshadow like I need to get it, I'm going to create those opportunities for myself to get that,
to get
right?
the money. Okay.
So when I started building my house, it wasn't like I was sitting around and had $1.7 million sitting around. I was like, okay, I'm gonna build this house, and I know I'm probably gonna be somewhere around $1 million.
Yeah.
So let me go out and do a couple plays and make this million real quick.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
And then it was end up being more than $1 million, but it was like, all right, cool. So now it forced me. Like I put myself in that position. Like I want this plane. I've been thinking about this plane for a year. Right. Now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to pull the trigger on it.
I love it, man.
What couple plays can I do?
There you
I
go.
love it. I love it.
Because if not, I don't need it. I don't. And I'm not telling people not to get a house because they can't afford it cash. No, go get your house.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when you get to a certain point in life where you have your necessities, stop overextending yourself to just get things that you necessarily just because.
Yeah. Right.
Like if I can't pull it, I'm not doing it. The only card we have an American Express that we pay off every month.
Right.
Okay.
Last month was $85,000. You know what I mean? So it's just like you do that every month so that I ain't paying the interest that you if I carry the money over there.
Yeah.
And we just do it because it's safer to pay on a credit card than cash. And it's just like, that's where I am in life.
That's a whole different mentality, man.
Isn't that like a whole nother, maybe something we should touch on for a second, or do we come back on another podcast, talk about, how you
I mean, I want to
handle
touch on
that
just
debt.
real briefly the mentality, because it's not like I want this or I need this, so let me go the traditional routes. It's like, how can I raise the money to go get it?
Yeah, that's a couple plays.
That's totally different.
Yeah.
That's,
Yo, let me give you an
that.
example. My
Yeah.
courtside seats at the Hornets is $55,000,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I don't want to pay for this.
Right.
Right.
So I said, how can I do it? So I went on Instagram. I said, yo, you want to spend the day with me? It's X amount. 10 people took the first 10, was gone in 2 days.
Yeah.
Paid for the seat.
pay for the seats.
Boom.
Yeah.
So it was just like a play for me. It was just like,
Yeah.
but I know not everybody has that luxury to go do that, but there is something in that joint.
No,
So
but
like
everybody
yeah.
has if everybody had that mindset, they would figure out ways to get things done other than the
Absolutely.
traditional route.
So
Than jobs and stuff.
So
Yeah.
here I think for us to break it down to a third grade level, it's a big word called reverse engineering. For instance, it's 55,000 for your seats. 55,000. How do I reverse engineer, which was the play, right? What are the things that I can do to create $55,000 worth of income to pay for these seats? And that turned into maybe utilizing a day with Max, right, as a means to actually pay for that. And, I don't want to get into how much, each person paid for a day with Max. but you said
$7,500?
they paid-
I'm free game.
Okay, so
$7,500.
$7,500, and you said 10
that's cheap.
people once you rolled it out, because you have a quality brand and people actually believe that they're going to get $7,500 worth of information just hanging out with Max, right? And that alone not only helped you continue to do what you do, as far as educating people in this space and things like that, but it also took care of the tickets.
Yeah,
and
bro,
I think
that's
that's
cheap.
I think that's dope.
That was matching, yeah. Even the guy last night was like, why you only charge $7,500?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't do it to make a like this.
Yeah.
I wasn't my thing to go get this bag. I had a mission. I wanted to pay for my
for my
courtside
seats.
seats.
Yeah,
that's
And I wanted to hang out with people that understood the value in it. And then my camera guy was there, so I shot content.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's like,
Well, it's a win-win-win situation,
everybody.
like we talked about earlier. So it's pretty dope. You don't have to bang everybody in the head. Like, you don't have to be the only person that actually wins all the time.
Yeah.
And you create more chances to actually win this way as well.
so when in business do you decide to do debt versus a partnership?
For me, it's individual situations. Like, so I'm getting ready to build out. We talk about picks and shovels, right? So I'm getting ready to build out Greenwood dispatching solutions. So we're going to build that out. So we'll do dispatching, of course, for our trucks, but we'll do dispatching for the world, right? And so it's interesting because someone was talking to me about doing it, and they reached out and they said, can you explain that equity conversation that you were talking about? So I know people are watching, and this person is actually someone that's a phenomenal dispatcher. I don't even want to call them, that's like degrading what they do, because they do so much more than just dispatch freight. And so I was thinking about, man, how do I incorporate the things that we're talking about with this this whole notion of building out this aspect of the company. So I'm like, if this person is really that valuable to them, you should partner with them, because I can pay them, but then I'm paying them for their time and their talent versus partnering with them, giving them skin in the game. They still get paid along the way. They're going to think like an owner, and we're going to blow this thing up. So in that situation, it just makes sense to partner, create win-win-win.
I think we should forecast for 2023 that everybody who rocks with us should try to figure out how to create valuable partnerships in 2023. I think everybody's brand will literally go to the next level. Just stop being scared.
1 + 1 is 4.
All
1
day.
+ 1 is 4.
All day. I mean,
don't
you
know
see
what
it.
they
You
do.
see it in your family.
Yeah.
You and your wife wind up making 2-3 kids. 1 + 1 made about 4 or 5.
And so, when I talk to people about entrepreneurship, I talk to them about partnerships, because I've done it as a lone ranger, but I've done it with partners. Totally different, because I'm not good at everything. I don't like doing everything.
I'm good at everything, but good, I'm just messing with you. I all his life right there.
As I get older, I realize the value in partnerships.
Emotional intelligence, bro. I need you to come back real quick, understand where I'm coming from, and keep yours in check.
I told you I was up until 3 a.m.
Most of the time now, as I get older, I value partnerships, because now most of the time all I bring is money and the vision. I need the executioners. I need the ones that's going down.
So my man Jerome, we were talking about like a model to help people determine what's a good partnership. And so we're still just working this thing out. But if you can imagine 4 quadrants, right? And so we really just got the top right and the bottom left. The horizontal axis is value. And then the vertical axis is skills. So there's a bunch of stuff that comes under skills in that definition, a bunch of stuff come under value. It could be money, it could be expertise, it could be time, yada, yada, yada. So when there's low value and low skill, probably not a good idea to partner.
Yeah, I like that.
When there's high value and high skill, you end up in that top right hand corner.
I like the concept.
Right?
I think just thinking about it right now though, I think y'all should change the 2 accesses.
Change the 2. So
I think value take you a lot further than skills do.
Yeah.
So vertically, I think value would send you this way, because there are a lot of people who played or did what they did skill wise, but they couldn't last long or stay long because they didn't provide enough value through the organization or to everybody else around.
I rock with you, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I think if those 2 axes go like that, we still end up in this quadrant over here with those 2 over here. But I think it's pretty dope.
Right.
Pretty dope.
So yeah, that's the notion. So at the end of the day, I know if you got high value,
we need that for the book,
skill,
that we got to steal that.
Yeah. Well, he came with one thing, and I remixed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right there.
I remixed it.
Right. He made it a high line, but you made it a high song. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Exactly.
I'm trying to sell it. So
Exactly.
I need a plane.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I love that idea, man. And so, the other great thing about what we do, and I think that makes us different, is we got like real life stories. Like that's a dope story that you just told about, like how you went about, going on, getting the plane versus I'm gonna go to the bank because I know the bank can stroke the check, but nah, let's do it this way, and then that gives me peace, and you can't put a price on peace of mind. Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this, and I had this conversation with me driving over here. Do you think money can buy happiness?
So here's what money buys you. Money buys you freedom. And freedom is pretty damn close to happiness. Now, what you do with that freedom is up to you. An unhappy person is rich or poor. It doesn't matter. But what I will tell you is the struggle of being in survival mode is a very dusty life. Like you are always looking over your shoulders, right? So imagine making your money as a dope boy. You are always on the watch out.
Right.
You from the ops, from the cops,
internally,
you know what I'm saying, from the crew. Right. And so it feels very pressure, right? And so when you get out of that survival mode and you learn how to make money without having to do that, it gets pretty close to it. Anybody that says money can't buy happiness ain't never had money. Because yes, if you say that direct and point blank, then yes. But having money can allow you access to happiness. If you're an unhappy person to begin with, ain't the money not gonna change that.
Right.
So I want you to think about that from the perspective of like some real old heads, in your family or in your culture or just community, some real old people that that's like they just like unbothered and unfazed by life at this point. Like they just got so much wisdom, but they ain't never had no damn money. I think they done got to the point in their life where money, they got to the point where money didn't really matter to them because, they understand what true happiness and stuff like that is. And I get where you're coming from. I just think that, you get to a point where none of that matters in life. I think that you're gonna look at life from a whole different perspective. When we're young, this shit run us. You know what I'm saying? And we always chasing the next thing and the next bag. But then there's certain periods in our life where things actually happen and it strips away all this extra stuff and you're like, damn, none of this shit really mattered to me right now. I just wish, such and such was here or something.
Let me go against that for a second, because I think what I'm picturing what you were saying, like I'm literally picturing it visually. And I think you just showed me a picture of a content person. I don't think you showed me a picture of a happy person. And so what is the difference between content and happy? I could be fat and happy. I'm content with being out of shape. Like, I'm just cool with it. I don't mean I'm happy, but if I was in shape, I might be happier. I may be not content. You're not angry. You're not miserable, but you're kind of like content.
I understand what you're saying.
Like, for example, let me give you an example to see if you kind of can relate, right? So I've never been locked up, never been in prison, never been in jail. Have you seen people in there that were lifers that weren't upset about being in there? They actually looked kind of happy, but in reality, they were just content being there.
Well, there are some people that are content, they become institutionalized. And then there's some people who have made peace with what they've done because of reciprocity and reaping and sowing and reaping and things like that.
Why are they happy? You think they're happy?
So they've understand that there's a debt that they must pay for the wrongs that they have done. And therefore, they're actually living a more peaceful life right now because they know that the end all be all is not this just physical thing that we got going on right now. So when they do actually meet their maker, they would have to make peace in this life right here, or if you believe in an afterlife, then there's another debt to be paid at that point in time. So, some people make peace with themselves and with what they got going on, as opposed to some people just being content and really, being ate up from the inside out. So I think there's a little different, there's a little difference right there. But I think some of us have not experienced true happiness right now. Yeah. And that's why some days we don't feel good if, in the beginning, we used to ask you guys, how you guys doing today? And if the stocks was fucked up, you guys used to tell me you were 7 and 8s. And I used to be like, man, that. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Right. And then you find out, like, 1 week you tell me that it's fake money, and then next week you tell me there's real money, and then
it's real when it's up.
It's real when right.
Up and it's up.
Right. So all I'm saying is that when you have a sense of peace with everything that's going on, it's just like, it's up today, it's down tomorrow, but I'm still gonna be, I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be regardless. Yeah. I don't know, we'll figure it out.
I'm just keep living. And I could be dead wrong, but I think happiness is a being, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think you're right in terms of the money doesn't matter to your overall being. And so if you're in happiness, if that's your existence, then money can't really affect that. But I do believe money can buy you dopamine, right? A dopamine shot, and dopamine is happy. Yeah. Right. So absolutely. So you got happiness, and then you have happy. And I process all that driving over here. Yeah. And
so
I got lost.
I just did a talk. Literally, I just did a talk, and I was telling people how I got information and I actually apply the information, and it's how you create your own dopamine. So you can create your own dopamine without getting it from money. So when money's not there, you're still able to have this 100%. Feeling without it coming from just money. Yeah. And dopamine can come from
more money.
Dopamine can come from completing tasks and having small wins.
Absolutely.
So now if you get somebody to take small little steps, right? They can actually create the feel good hormone, which is dopamine, which stems from your cerebrum. And this goes now to actually throughout your whole body. It actually helps you heal from the inside out by being able to create this yourself. But you can also get it from cookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can also get it from, right? He said, I like cookies. Right.
What's your favorite?
You can get it from your favorite. But that's why they're called comfort foods, though.
Macadamia.
So, once you take the information and you move it from that information to application, like literally you can start to, elevate and separate yourself from a lot of different things, which is an old train of thought as well. Gotcha. So dopamine don't just have to come from, outside things. Yes, these things stimulate me, but that's why I got in trouble before. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because when I couldn't produce this dopamine on my own, I went and got it from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. All right. I think it's time for us to wrap up.
Yeah, we got about 4 minutes.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on with everybody has a lot of stuff going on. So everybody's like,
what's going on?
So
with
we're in
Rod
the group.
Brown?
We're in the group, but it's like, I'm going to Dubai. I'm flying to Dubai. Yeah. So I'm going to Philly. I'm at the Philly game. Thank you for going to that game because you helped my Commanders win. I appreciate that. I need you to be at every Commanders game. So what's like real quick, high level? What's going on, and what what can we help you with, and what could the people out there help you with? Because we know that if we can help each other, we can go further, faster.
I'm good, man. Life is great right now. I'm about to go to Dubai. I'm speaking in Dubai in early December 3rd and 4th.
Man, I like to hear that because that gives me a chance to see it before I see it right there.
Yeah,
man.
international.
Yeah, without question.
Right? And then
live vicariously through Max.
So me and my wife were actually both speaking at the same event.
Man, that's some awesome stuff.
At different times, different panels, different things. So that's cool.
Huge. Shout out to
then
Max.
we're going out to
May.
Egypt to this
Blaze
place
estate.
called Siwa. It's a oasis.
Oasis joint, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to Siwa. And I don't know, but I'll know in a few hours. I may have to go to Qatar in early next week because they invited us to the World Cup.
Damn, that's super dope.
Stamps on that passport.
Yeah.
So
Impact.
Love it.
yeah, man. But other than that, man, I'm facing challenges in my aviation business, the good challenges, right? Like, what do we do with this and
That's good.
innovation and flight schools,
putting
all the stuff together. My unnecessary risk I'm taking, but it just feeds me as my dopamine.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Other than that,
As an entrepreneur, like those are the things we live for.
it's like why are you going to go risk 700,000?
Right.
I think because of the impact, right? I mean, you got a chance to change the whole landscape of what young colored, black and brown, men and people could actually do with themselves. I mean, that's super dope, man.
It's that vision, man.
That's awesome.
And the other side of that risk, the reward is going to be tremendous.
Yeah, 100%.
Because what I know is you're going to figure it out. I know.
Yeah. It's sometimes you get like a little defibrillator.
Oh yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
I'm back in the
Bro.
game because I've been on Cruise Street for a while. Every now and then you dibble in some things. But what about y'all, man? What you up to?
So Lynch and I, we're going to partner with a school building this this mentorship program that Lynch pretty much wrote and designed. I'm just going to kind of help push it and be a part of the curriculum. We're going to go into a high school and work with black males and help them start businesses. Huh?
I don't remember getting that phone call.
Don't trust me. You get it's coming.
Trust. What are you talking about?
We make sure you ain't got to do no work on this right here. You just got to come in and do what you do.
You're gonna come in there and bless that whole
With
thing.
that value.
Absolutely. So we're gonna. So that's one thing that I'm excited about. In the trucking business, it's all about picks and shovels right now. Because I think we got a rhythm now with the transportation piece. We got a rhythm with hiring and doing it the way we do it, unlike a whole bunch of people. So you hear a lot of complaints, and that's because they're doing it the old way. So it's picks and shovels, and I'm excited about a partnership when it comes to one of those picks, and that's dispatching. Having that up and going by January 1. Just really excited about that. Excited about the Endgame podcast and what we're doing, the people that we're reaching, the impact that we're making. Excited about. We're going to work on the book, right? We're going to face to face.
We got a trip to Harlem, don't we?
Going to,
or should we just do
New
this
York.
one on? We'll
The
talk
first
about
one
it.
on Zoom. We'll talk about it.
So but that's cooking right now. So it's starting to boil. So really excited about that. So that's just a handful of things.
Man, I'm super excited, man. I got a lot of stuff going, a lot of irons in the fire, man. I know something got to strike,
R7
right? R7, man.
So
we
you just did a
did
partnership, couple partnerships, right?
Yeah.
Big
ShopRite,
partnerships.
Walmart, Barbers Inc., man. Yeah. We got some dope stuff going on, man. Everything, the mentor program, just speaking, gyms, all that stuff, man. This is some pretty dope stuff, man. So, I'm excited. A lot of dopamine popping off and things like that.
And I don't want to drag this
I
out.
sell dopamine.
Yeah.
That's
Me
a dope
too.
shirt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, without question.
it.
I am
Dopamine.
dopamine. Yeah.
But how much? Because I got like a courtside seat, and I see how you're moving with R7. I see the team that you're building with R7. Shout out Dom and the others. Like how much of the $8.3 million drug ring skill set are you bringing to
It's all business,
R7?
baby.
Probably pretty much about 95% of it is straight.
It's all business,
street.
baby.
Yeah.
But the way he's doing it is just like
it's distribution.
I see.
It's all that. It's crazy. Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
And just I think just bridging the gap, leveraging relationships, things like that, and just getting out there on that straight grind and hustle, man. Just doing it, taking everything all the skills and transferring them. It's pretty dope. Dope stuff. Dope stuff.
Good stuff.
We gotta get my man out of here, man.
I know we gotta go.
Yeah,
he gotta go.
Yeah.
Helicopter's not here.
Helicopter's not here.
That's all right,
Not
man.
yet.
You get jumping that all black joint, you know, they think you the president coming through anyway. They're gonna move out of the way. Just throw the hazards on. Yeah, they don't know CIA, whatever. Yeah, we out of here though, man. Tell them what we gotta tell them.
Well, listen, man, if you've been watching this podcast on YouTube, please do us a favor. Get our subs up, man. It costs you absolutely nothing. And if you enjoyed this show, just share it with a friend, right?
Word.
Subscribe, like this video. And if you're listening on podcast land,
Yeah.
do us a favor. Like, our numbers are pretty decent on YouTube, but we don't have many people listening on podcasts. We fluctuate.
Yeah,
Sometimes we
yeah.
push
Like,
it.
why are we top 10 in other countries, not in the United
Because
States?
Zimbabwe rock with us, bro.
Hey, they rock with us. Yeah. We just need they gotta drop them reviews and they make sure we can get a little something on
We'll create a little campaign, but man, at the end of the day, at the end of the podcast, we appreciate y'all. Y'all know this is the Endgame. My name is Max Maxwell.
Hey, I'm Rob Brown.
I'm Lynch Hunt.
And we out.
Peace.